Hey Flosstube, welcome to this special edition of Creative Whims Studio. Hey friends, I'm so happy to be back with you today to introduce to you Julia Howard. This is an antique reproduction sampler that I am releasing today. So let me introduce myself. My name is Teresa Kogut. I am an artist and cross-stitch designer and now antique reproduction sampler gal. And I'm so excited about it. If you follow me on Instagram, you've been seeing posts pretty much every day. I've missed the past few days, but I have been posting pictures of my antique sampler collection, and I plan to reproduce all of them eventually. Another reason, well, I wanted to post them all because of Sampler September. I also wanted to release this beautiful sampler in September for Sampler September. However, Kevin and I were out west. We went out there for the retreat, Acorns and Threads retreat, which is PNWS or the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit, hosted by Acorns and Threads. And then we stayed out there to celebrate our anniversary, which is 36 years, our 36th anniversary. That just blows my mind. Where did the time go? Anyways, we were out there for 10 days after the retreat, just exploring the Pacific Northwest. We love it out there. It's so beautiful and so different from from where we live here in Michigan. So we just had an amazing time. Well, I came home to some really timely deadlines that were due. We got home Thursday. We got in bed about 1 a.m. Our flight came in really late and it was delayed as well, so that didn't help. But Friday I had to finish stitching something that I had been working on while we were gone, and then I had to fully finish it and get it to the person, get it to the publisher, because it's for Chantelle's box, her ornament box. And if you didn't get in on that, I am so sorry, because it's going to be epic. And then I had just yesterday was the first, so I had all my Patreon charts. I had to get ready. I designed them all. Well, not all. I had one of them done. I designed 3 designs while I was gone. Actually, I designed a total of 5 designs while I was gone. The other 2 are something special. And then, what else did I have? Oh, and then I had my Jingle Ball class project due yesterday as well. So I got back and I just hit the ground running, and I haven't stopped since. So I was kind of bummed because I really wanted to release Julia Howard during September for Sampler September, but it just didn't work out. So here we are on October 2nd, and we are releasing her now. The books came in while we were gone, so everything's ready to go, ready to ship. Your shops already know about it by the time you see this video, so we are ready to ship. All right, let's get started on this beautiful sampler. So early in the year of 2023, a sweet lady reached out to me. Her name is Jeffrey Glass, and she lives in Grand Blanc, which is not far from where I live. And she reached out to me to see if I would be interested in reproducing an antique sampler that she had that was part of her family's heritage. And I said I would love to. And we met in April of 2023. We met at Flag City Diner and we had lunch together, got to know each other a bit, and she showed me the antique sampler and we talked about it, and it was amazing. And out of all of the samplers I have collected, this one is most special because I actually know a person from the family history, and that means so much to me. People might wonder why, when there's so many people out there doing antique samplers, why are you going to get into it now? Well, I have to give credit to Teresa Vanette, because watching her videos, back when she did videos. We miss you, Teresa, but we know how busy you are. But we do love your videos and we miss you and we hope you come back someday. She's Kitten Stitcher on Flosstube, and if you've not watched her, you need to go and do so and just binge watch all of her videos. I think I'm going to actually start over and watch them all again. But she inspired me with antique samplers, and just that I did not know the history of antique samplers. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am new at cross stitch. I've been designing since 2013, but I did not learn to stitch until fall 2020, which I really didn't even pick it up then because I wanted to learn the sewing method. So it was actually the spring of 2021 when it clicked in my head how to do the sewing method, and I was off to the races and haven't quit since because I love it and I'm addicted like you guys are now too. But watching, where did I go? Why did I get on that? Watching Teresa Vanette and learning about the history of antique samplers, and I'm not going to get into all of that right now because most of you already know, and if you don't, go to Teresa Vanette and watch her. It just is so inspiring to me that these young girls, some at the age of 4, Deb from Snug Harbor Crafts, she just finished, and I think she has it fully finished in her frame and everything. She just recently showed on her Flosstube, her and Kef on Snug Harbor Crafts here on Flosstube. She just finished one, and the girl was 4 when she stitched it. 4 years old. These girls range from, 4 to, all the way up to adulthood, but a majority of them are young, like school-age girls, because that's how they learn their alphabet, is by stitching it over and over again. That's why you see alphabets in the antique samplers. Just knowing that, and just the more I learn about antique samplers, the more I love them. So when I see one on eBay that is in my price range and has motifs that I adore, and it's all about color for me as well, I can't resist, okay? And I'm excited to be a part of that young girl's, like, carrying her work forward. And so it just touches my heart. So that's why I'm getting into it, in case you were wondering. I did not expect to do that long of an intro, but it is what it is. So this antique sampler is, so let me back up. So we met at a diner, we had lunch, she gave me the antique sampler, I reproduced it, I gave it back to her, with the threads and with the fabric for her to stitch, because how cool is it that she stitched the same sampler that her great-great aunt stitched back in the 1850s. So let me show it to you. I'm going to show you first the antique sampler. So this is the antique, which is going to be hard with all that glass and the glare. Hard to show, but we'll get there. So it is stitched with wool on, oh, what is it called? Jeffrey looked it up. I have something in here I'm going to read too, so... Well, I don't know where I put it in here, but I forget what this cloth is called, but you can see that it has... Is it focusing? But this cloth has like some blue stripes in it. I am so sorry for that glare, but you know how it is when there's glass on a piece. It's really hard to, there we go. It's not so dark now. I love the aged look too of the fabric she stitched it on. So you can see down here it says J. Howard Convent School. She did not date it, which is unfortunate, but it's Jeffrey's family, so she was able to kind of pinpoint at least which decade she stitched this in. Oh, I just love it. So here it is in its entirety. And here it is stitched. Look how small it is. I absolutely love the size of this and how it turned out. So this was framed by Paula at the Craft Gallery, and it has the UltraView UV70 anti-reflective glass in it. Virtually invisible, brightens colors, up to 70% UV protection. So, but you can obviously, with any kind of glass, you're going to see glare when it's this. It's early morning, and so the sun is shining in the windows on the front of my studio, so it's extra bright in here today. Let me actually turn my tripod. There we go. Turn my tripod, and we don't have quite as much glare. I did my best to color match the threads. This does not have any over one stitching. However, that entire large red alphabet is all Algerian eyelets, as well as this Christian symbol here, and then the JH and the C and the S. Those are all Algerian eyelets, but other than that, they're all full crosses. I love that little dog over there, that little black dog with the white spots. So cute. Notice the N is backwards. There's a cute little story about that too. What a cute little piece. Isn't it just adorable? So let me hold them up together so that you can see the difference in the size. Well, there we go. So there's the difference in the size, quite a bit. This piece is a booklet. This is what the cover looks like. I think the photograph turned out really nice. And then here's the bag. I love it with that antique lace. Or it's not lace, it's like a crocheted doily type thing. So I'm just going to read you what it says in here. And this is all included. Also, inside here is a little diagram showing how to do the Algerian eyelet in case you don't know how to do it. They're not hard to, I shouldn't say this. Everyone I've talked to says they're not hard to do. They're just time consuming. All right. Okay, here we go. Early 2023, a sweet lady reached out to me about reproducing an antique sampler that had been in her family as long as she could remember. She contacted me because we live fairly close to one another. I was intrigued as I had been collecting antique samplers for a couple of years in hopes of reproducing them someday. The stories behind the antique samplers need to be shared, as well as the beautiful work those young girls accomplished. April 2023, Jeffrey Glass and I met at a quaint diner for lunch to discuss this venture we were embarking on. Jeffrey is a lovely and talented needleworker. She makes quilts and loves to cross-stitch. She's a fine finisher as well. We enjoyed chatting and getting to know one another. Best of all, we discussed her family's sampler. J. Howard, Julia, was Jeffrey's great-great-aunt. She stitched this sampler when she was in a convent school around 1850 in New Britain, Connecticut. It is stitched on an open canvas using wool threads. And then I have a quote in here from Jeffrey. This sampler hung in the bedroom I slept in at my Grandma Kate's house, and she was the one who taught me to use my hands by teaching me how to knit, embroider, and when I wanted her to make me clothes for my Tony doll, she taught me how to sew on her old Singer machine. She was so afraid I would be bored when I came to visit. She had projects waiting. J. Howard, Julia, was her aunt, and she and her sister Julia both had the passion for needlework. When I started to cross-stitch in the 80s, I remembered the sampler and called my aunt to see if someone still had it, and she had given it to her daughter, who carried the Howard name. She really didn't have an interest in it, so it came to me with a note that we had a crazy relative who didn't know how to write her N back in the 1850s. Just by happenstance, one of my first samplers, I too did my N's backwards, as a friend so loudly pointed out in the needlework shop I worked at. It was an honor to reproduce it, and I hope it brought a smile to my grandma and my great-great Aunt Julia in heaven. Jeffrey Glass. Isn't that just sweet? It's just sweet. I love it. So yeah, this is a full color chart. Nice and big, easy to see. And then also I included, which I need to start doing this in all of my books now, is there is a picture of the entire chart on one page. For those of you who like to take a picture and load it into your tablet using, I think it's called GoodNotes or Goodreads or something like that, where you can zoom in and see it. So yeah, it has a full picture of it as well. And then in the back of the book shows a picture of the antique sampler as well. So yeah, I'm so happy to finally be releasing this for Jeffrey. Oh my gosh, this has been very moving and touching for her to have this happen. I think the best thing that has come out of this is now my friendship with Jeffrey. She is amazing and so kind. She has given me things that she has stitched and created. She gave me a project bag where she put my little heart and hand logo in one of the quilt. Anyway, I know I've shown it on here. And then she also gave me, this adorable scissor pillow. She's very, very talented in her stitching, her sewing, her finishing. The attention to detail is just amazing. So yeah, I've thanked Jeffrey in person, but I also want to give a public thank you to Jeffrey for asking me to reproduce this family heirloom for her. I'm honored that she chose me, and I'm just so happy that we live in the same area so that we can get together once in a while. And who knows, maybe I'll start quilting and her and I can get together and quilt. Anyways, don't hold me to that, but someday. So anyway, thank you for watching me today, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you contact your LNS or your ONS and get your order in for Julia Howard. Thanks, and don't forget, create every day. Bye now.